round 14, and it's showdown time for the Australian Sports Sedan Championships. On paper, at least, Greg Crick has already won the title, 35 points clear of Mick Monterosso. But with the threat of the controversial Lakeside round hanging over their heads, there is another possibility. If Crick fails to finish and Monterosso finishes first or second, he can win the title.
Sound, thunder and fury, and Monterosso blasts away, leads them all, leads them comfortably. Gary Scott comes charging through, 12 cylinders, trying to haul him past the Honda. He doesn't quite make it. He gets up with Des Wall's Supra. Kerry Bailey's Supra's tucked in behind him. And it's all unleashed, and it's gone mad and wild in the Sports Sedan Championship. Crick is second, Gary Scott's third. Monterosso leads them off.
Great start by Monterosso. Didn't get off the line. Got a good gap now, and he's up to them to pass him. He's going to drive around with the doors open, so we'll just see how he goes from here.
Crick chasing and doesn't have to win, but he wants to. Kerry Bailey's fourth. And you see him the third of that group. There's Wall then, heads the next. Ian Luff tails that group of about 5 cars, but this man heads everyone. Mick Monterosso really does know how to use this simple little car. Great combination of a clever concept and well used, really well driven, well sorted. Not a big budget effort like Crick's car, which John Smith, and there you see Kerry Bailey punching down the inside of the turbo Supra of the V12 Jaguar, and he hasn't held him off. In fact, Scott's got a big brake lock-up problem. Gets onto the straight, or at least the run around towards. Yes, onto the straight, okay. About a second between first and second place between Monterosso, and look at Bailey, brave, trying to go down the inside of Scott. Loses a lot of ground finally when he changes his mind. Very wisely. Des Wall in behind is having a busy time also. Little wide line there for Bailey.
Yes, he's drifted out quite wide like the car was pushing. Bailey's car seems very good in a straight line. It's got a big Chev in it as well. But the Scott's very hard like to pass in the Jag. He's been there before plenty of times. And here's Crick right up in the back of Monterosso. He's starting to wear him down. Monterosso's car starts well. And the Crick car starts to come good about halfway through the race. We
were saying that the Crick car really is much more sophisticated.
Oh, absolutely.
Than the Monterosso little Escort.
Yeah, it's got Formula One style suspension and everything in the Crick car. It is a very, very sophisticated little car.
Not to mention the chassis of it too is pretty special.
Oh yes, it's based virtually on a Formula Holden type chassis, Formula Brabham, with a very heavy bulkheads, small area where the driver sits through with his legs sitting through the bulkheads. Pull rod and push rod type suspension. Very sophisticated. Whereas the Escort is a bit more simple. It's got a wishbone type layout, but nothing like the sophistication of the Honda. And I find the Honda probably a little bit more brittle. Not as robust a car to race.
Thundering down the straight now. And it was 0.3 of a second between the two of them. If it seemed a small gap, it was only because they were going so damn fast. Frighteningly fast, actually.
Monterosso is covering his ground, as you can see. Crick's all over him like a rash around the back of the circuit. Straight line performance, the Escort definitely got it on the Honda.
Crick's in.
Yes, snuck through. Good move.
And if the first race is anything to go by, it's all over, but Monterosso doesn't think so. But already power on nice and early out of that corner, and the Honda jumps away. There's a lap time that got Crick into the lead, averaging nearly 152 kilometres now, 33.23. Here it is, Crick leading Monterosso by only a bit over a second. 1 1/4 seconds, and it's only 1.9 over about the next 4 cars. Monterosso right back through that bunch, and Monterosso is possibly catching Greg Crick. He is. On this lap, he's closer than the previous one.
Oh, yeah. Monterosso is he slowing in or just an optical illusion? We'll have to check and see in the next frame. Yes, I reckon Motorosso's just dropped off.
Yep. Yep. Great shame. What a pity for Mick Monterosso, one of two brothers from...
Mind you, this car's suffered a fair bit of a hiding over the last few weeks, and it could be a bit of a legacy from the altercations they had up at Lakeside.
So, pressure off Crick, and Bailey up in front of Gary Scott.
See if Bailey can close the gap to Crick now. That is the question, see if he can do it. And it improved Bailey dramatically in the point scoring as well if Monterosso goes out of this heat, because Bailey was sort of knocking on the door, I think, in their point scoring.
Well, now it's all really been split up, so the gap's 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. Back to Kerry Bailey from Greg Crick. Not much to Gary Scott, doing everything he can in the big Jag, absolutely everything. Clipping the circuit on the outside, clipping it on the inside, blocking brakes sometimes. Still screaming the head off 12 cylinders, a Jaguar engine, 5.3 litres.
He's still working very hard at it, Scott. You can see he's not giving up, and I think Scott is that sort of guy. He just keeps pressing on with the car and just waits to see what washes up. Actually, Crick's coming back to them as well. His 2-second gaps definitely shrunk back. I reckon it'll be just over a second now. Less than a second.
Over the three of them, it's only 2.25.
Yeah.
And it was 1.9 back. Sorry, it was 2.5 back to second place a little while ago.
Bailey's the one that's got the move on.
He has got this thing operating. He's doing a good job, Kerry Bailey. Hasn't been motor racing that long.
Now, the car has been around for about 2 years, if I can remember rightly, but very well presented, a beautiful car.
Checkered flags out. It's Greg Crick hanging on to victory, ahead of Kerry Bailey by a very slim margin into third place. Gary Scott in the Jaguar, a lapped car in among them there as they flashed across the finishing line. And then Deswall just in front of Brian Smith. So in a race time for the 8 laps of 12 minutes 36.76 by just 0.6 of a second. It's Crick from Bailey. The new Australian Sports Sedan champion is Crick. Gary Scott in the Jaguar not far away in third. Bit of a gap then to Des Wall and Brian Smith in close company, and a further 7 seconds to Jeff Barnes, 6th in number 6.
The winner of the Australian Sports Sedan Championship for 1991, Greg Crick. Greg, congratulations. How does it feel?
Thank you, John. It's a fantastic feeling to finally win the title.
6 wins for you, 5 for Mick Monterosso. It was a close fought series.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Unfortunately, Mick stopped in the last one. John, if I might take this opportunity, these guys around me have helped me all year. They've worked their backsides off. They're all voluntary just to get me to this title, and I really owe them a big debt.
What are you going to do for them next year, Greg?
If we can get a major sponsor, we'll be back to try and win the title again next year, and hopefully they won't even have to pay their own airfares next year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.